I want to take a moment this morning to discuss a very specific topic, a very serious topic in my mind, and that is the amount of paranoia in the gun community. And by paranoia, I mean just people that worry about things they shouldn't worry about. I mean, we have enough worries in our life. Just living your life in constant worry about things that are so unlikely is just unhealthy, and I see it so often. Nothing gives a movement a bad reputation worse than its tinfoil hat crowd, and the gun community definitely has its tinfoil hat crowd. And to illustrate the point, the other day I made a video about a gun safe I had that I was installing in my car. I made a little bit in the middle about making sure, I don't want anyone knowing my combination because they'll come steal my guns. And then at the end I do a little slapsticky thing where I give away the combination. Well, just floods of personal messages and emails like, oh my God, someone saw your combination, you need to change combination, you need to send that safe back, you need to get your... I'm like, oh my God, calm down. And they're like, oh, you need to take that off, you need to edit it. Why aren't you changing that? I'm like, because I'm not a moron. I'm not a paranoid schizophrenic who is bad at math, which is what you'd have to be worried about someone seeing the combination to your car safe. On a video on YouTube. It's like people who cover serial numbers on guns or are afraid for people to know where they live. It's just, people see where you live every day. People can follow you home from the grocery store every day. You're not really putting yourself at any measurable extra risk by people seeing things on the internet that they can see any day just following you around. In fact, it's less risky. Now, I'm not saying be careless with your personal information or anything like that, but I was just illustrating a point that people seeing my gun safe combination is not a really risky thing, and there's nothing to be paranoid about, because you got to sit down and do the math. Let's say 2,000 people watch my video. Out of those 2,000 people, how many of them do you think have ill intent to actually come and steal my property? Let's say a few of them, maybe. Okay, out of those few that actually have the intent, how many of them are going to live near me? This is a worldwide media. So who's going to be seeing the video that actually lives within distance of me to make it worth come stealing an object from me? They're definitely not going to get on a plane and come here to steal something from me. So it would have to be somebody who lived really close. Okay, so let's say someone does live close. What's the chances that they're ever going to recognize me or my car out in public? That they're actually going to see my car and go, oh, hey, that's the Yankee Marshal's car, and it's got a gun safe in it, and I saw the combination once. Okay, let's say that happens. What's the chance they're actually going to remember the combination? So let's even further. Let's say, okay, they wrote the combination down. They've recognized my car. They live near me. Okay, now let's say, what's the chances that they're actually going to have the opportunity to break into my car? What's to say it's not in a place where there's cameras, where there's people around? So already you're looking at the chances are almost zero already. So let's say, okay, they have ill intent, they live near me, they recognize my car, they remember the combination, and now they have the opportunity to break into my car. Well, they still have to overcome my car alarm, so what's the chance they're going to overcome my car alarm? Okay, so they get past my car alarm, they turn it off or whatever. Now what tells you they're going to have the time necessary to actually open my back seat, get into the safe, get something, and get out. All those things would have to add up before I'm even at any risk. I'm at much greater risk of someone just seeing me at a gun shop and following me home. So it's like the people who say, oh, I don't want people to see I have guns on the internet because then they'll have guns and they'll come break into my house. Well, where'd you buy those guns? Did you buy them in a parking lot from a person face to face? Well, someone probably saw you make that purchase. They could have followed you home. Much more likely than they could find where you live from the internet. Have you bought those guns at a gun shop? How hard would it be to sit out front of a gun shop and wait for some guy to walk out with a nice Dan Wesson case, follow them home, and remember where they live? That's much more likely than someone getting information off the internet and coming to your home. So worrying about stuff like that is borderline mental illness. It's just really bad. It's like these people that create no-win scenarios all the time. Like when I was installing the safe. I did another video where I'm installing the safe, and there's always these people like, oh, you're someone with a crowbar, in 5 minutes will get that out, or someone with a cutting torch, We can always create no-win scenarios in our head. It's impossible to not create one because there's always a no-win scenario. The problem is when you start thinking that's the baseline and you start thinking that is relevant enough to share that concern with someone else, that's borderline mental illness, if not full-blown mental illness. That is not good. Like I say, it's okay if you're someone who just loves fortifying things and you do it as a hobby, but when you start thinking that level of preparedness is the baseline, well then you need to seek professional help because you're not living life. What you're living is in fear. And it's not a healthy thing. It's not a good thing. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping anyone else. And you're not being a representative of anything. All you're doing is representing paranoia and fearfulness in the gun community. And you make us all look bad.